Yo, what's going on, family? Now check this out. Joe Biden just appointed a Nigerian to be the U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary. That's right, that's what he did. And not only that, Dr. Dre just hired a Nigerian to explain the Black American experience through art. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we're going to talk about that and much more on today's show. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kobe Smith, and I'm the co-founder of Black American. Black American is an ethnic identity brand, and what we do here is we inspire Black American people to love themselves, to love their country, and to also love their culture. So if you guys love being Americans, why don't you consider going to our website at www.blackамerican.com. All right, so on with today's show. Now, listen, I was reading this article last week where Clyburn comes out, and he expressed his outrage, his indignation at the fact that Joe Biden is not appointing enough Black people in top government positions. And, I looked at that and I just laughed. I chuckled because I'm like, well, what do you expect? Clyburn is the one who came out and literally said that he didn't want anything in return from Joe Biden for all the support that he was putting behind him to win this election. So after all you Black folks, right, all you Democrats got rid of the red man, Joe Biden said, hey, look, I did for y'all exactly what y'all wanted. I don't owe you nothing else. And from this point on, he's not putting any Black people in top cabinet positions. So Clyburn gets upset. Joe Biden says, all right, I hear you. Let me go ahead and honor my commitment to the Black community. And what he does is he appoints a Nigerian-born Nigerian in the number 2 slot, controlling all of America's money at the Treasury Department. That's right. There is this gentleman by the name of Adewale Adeyemo. He's a Yoruba man born in Nigeria who is sitting at the number 2 spot, controlling the most powerful Treasury Department in the world. Imagine that. Now, how you think that's that? A position that we, as ADOS, have never held before. Yet, at the same time, a Nigerian is there, while we are not. And this is where I want to know. Because I did a show a couple of shows back. What was it? Africans and Caribbeans win the White House. ADOS wins a pat on the head. Right? And that show was essentially about the same thing. How is it possible for a Caribbean to come to this country and within one generation achieve something that ADOS has never achieved? How is it possible for an African like Obama to come to this country, be born in this country by a first-generation immigrant, and Obama achieved something that we as ADOS have never achieved? And then here you have another one, a Nigerian born in Nigeria. He wasn't even born in the United States of America, and yet he's done something that we have never achieved. So what is that all about? Why is that continuing to happen at very, very, very high levels in our politics, right? With all of that said, before I continue on with the show, that reminds me of something. On the next show, I want to talk to you guys about the Moynihan report, right? I want us to read this report. I got it right here. I want us to read this report together. So I'm going to put this as a link in the description. It's going to be a PDF file. You guys download it to your phones or download it to your desktops, and I want you to read it word for word. It's short. It's only 70 pages. It's full of graphs, so it's only really about 35 pages of raw data, right? It's good stuff. It's good reading. But the Moynihan report, right, was written. It's a federal document written by the U.S. Department of Labor. And the U.S. Department of Labor wrote this document, and they were talking specifically about Black people, the Negro, the American Negro, right? ADOS. And what they say in this report is that Black Americans are the weakest group of Americans in the country. Not only does the U.S. Department of Labor say this, they also say that Black Americans are unequal to all other groups in the country. Y'all, okay, look, y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all think I'm making it up. Let me read a quote. Again, y'all can read it because, listen, all y'all must read this, right? So the next show that we can really have a great conversation about it. But let me read it word for word. Let me read this little quote. As a group, at the present time, in terms of ability to win out in the competitions of American life, they are not equal to most of those groups with which they will be competing. They're talking about us. Individually, Negro Americans reach the highest peaks of achievement, but collectively, in the spectrum of American ethnic and religious and regional groups, Negroes are among the weakest. This is your government saying this about you. This is the U.S. Department of Labor. And the person who wrote this report is Daniel Patrick Moynihan. It's called the Moynihan Report. Everybody knows it. And if you've never read it, I want you to read it. Because if you read it in its entirety, word for word, it's a very short document, so read it. It's going to help you understand democratic policy, right? In the way that they view Black American people. Because the people who wrote this are Democrats. They're the liberals, right? And they're going to explain to you in the Moynihan Report why they think the Black American man in particular is the weakest of all men in the country. and as a group, why we can't compete. So you must read the Moynihan report, which I'm going to provide for you in the description, because it will shed further light on why Kamala Harris is VP and not you, why Barack Obama is president and not you, why Adewale Adeyemo is the U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary and not you. And as a matter of fact, this report, the Moynihan report, explains why. So please read it, and we're going to break it down in the next show. All right? And so one of the things that the Moynihan report talks about is the slave mentality that we as Black Americans have, right? They refer to that slave mentality as a tangle of pathology. Let me know if you've ever heard that before, a tangle of pathology. So what they're saying is that Black Americans, those of us who are descendants of slaves, ADOS, have a tangle of pathology that make us incapable of competing against any other group. And so we don't think highly of ourselves. We have a low self-esteem as a people. And evidence of that is things like us as Black American people, like hiring people outside of our group to express our own experience. So Dr. Dre, he hires Toby and Wigway to express the Black American experience in this brief 2-minute piece of art that I want you guys to now listen to. I want you to listen to the whole thing nonstop in its entirety. So I'm also going to put that as a link in the description. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to break it down frame by frame. I want you guys to listen to it, as I critique it, and then go back and listen to it in its entirety and give me your thoughts in the comment section. All right, so let's go. So basically, the first thing that you're going to hear as we introduce, the first segment is you're going to hear Toby express himself and connect himself, as Tariq Nasheed would say, tether himself to the Black American experience. And also notice that all the images in this clip are of Black American people. There's going to be nothing in this clip that shows that he is Nigerian. He's not going to speak of Nigeria. There's not going to be a Nigerian look in here. It's all going to be Black American, and he's going to use words like we, us. He's going to be. The more you listen to it, you'll think that you're listening to a Black American, but keep in mind you're listening to a Nigerian. All right, check it out.
You love me. You love me not. You love Black culture, but do you love me?
So he's talking about a theme that is very popular within Black American art. Essentially, you love Black people and you love our music, you love our culture, but you don't love us. How many times have you heard Black American artists talk about things like that? Paul Mooney said famously, everybody want to be the N-word, but don't nobody want to be the N-word, right? That's pretty much the context of this entire piece. So the point of me bringing that up is Toby in Wigway is not bringing anything new to the table. He's merely parroting what we've always said about our own culture, but yet he's stepping into that voice and regurgitating what we've said, in order to just, tether himself to our experience, right? And it's totally unnecessary, right? So let's roll the next clip.
You love how I sound, my voice, these beats, this flow. Not me though, right? You love how I look, my hair, this skin, but me, nah. We don't get to exist. We're forced to survive. We still fight. We still play while the world burns on fields that ain't even level.
So here he's talking about we don't get to exist. We don't get to survive. Who is we, right? We don't get to exist. We don't get to survive. Here he is, once again, tethering himself to the history of struggle, that Black American struggle, and rising from the ashes like a phoenix and, achieving, basically going from the bottom to the top, right? Everyone loves an underdog. Everyone loves that story of a people who are fighting for freedom and achieving great things in the face of such great odds. So he wants to connect himself to that history. And so that is what he's doing within this piece. It's the same thing that politicians do, like Kamala Harris did in order to win the election. He's also doing the same thing. You'll hear him do more of this throughout the presentation. Check it out.
All men are created equal. That's my favorite part. You hate us so deeply, but you're still so impressed.
Now there it is. He says all men are created equal. This lets you know that he's talking about the United States of America, a place where he has no lineage, right? He's not talking about Nigeria. He's not talking about any African country. He's talking about the Declaration of Independence, the United States of America. So let's go.
Why can't you see? There's history in our skin. You built this country on our backs.
Now, this right here is the most egregious statement in the entire piece. He says, you built this country on our backs. You built this country on our backs. Our? No, brother. No, don't even try it. Here he is blatantly. Now this is a Nigerian speaking now. This is him blatantly trying to connect himself to the Black American experience of chattel slavery. Why would he do that? What is his motivation behind doing that? Seems odd to me. Doesn't make sense, but let's continue.
Why can't you see? There's history in our skin. You built this country on our backs. I'm him. He's me. She, us, we. We're all black.
So he says, I am him, she is me, he, us, we, we're all black. Something to that effect. We're all black, right? Black is black. Blackness. You know, he's trying to preach, right? This concept, this philosophy of flat blackness, that we're all black, we're all the same. There's no difference between us. And that's a lie, right? Just like Yvette Carnell says, you gotta ask that question, who you? And if he can convince you that, no, we're all black, we're all the same, then really what you're going to agree to is allowing him to step into your shoes and to speak on your behalf and get paid by doing so. You're going to allow him, if you agree with him, you're going to allow him to step into your culture and be a spokesperson for your culture. And from a political perspective and also from a cultural perspective, but we as ADOS have to be very, very, very careful of protecting the integrity of our culture. We have to be very, very serious about protecting the integrity of our politics. There's nothing wrong with that. Every group does it, and we should as well. All right? So let's listen a little bit more.
Power to live right. I got the power. Power to walk right with us.
Love me or not, we love each other deeply. We gon' be us. We gon' break bread. We gon' defy gravity. You love my culture, but do you love me? What a world that would be.
So Toby says, we gonna be us. We gonna break bread. We gonna, defy gravity. We. He continues to say we. He continues to say us. We're gonna continue to be in the struggle and to achieve and to rise from the ashes. He's talking about how we gonna overcome, right? I've seen the mountaintop, right? Just like Obama just wrote his book called Promised Land. And I was listening to him on the Breakfast Club, and I'm sure you guys heard him as well. He said that he called it Promised Land because of Dr. Martin Luther King's speech. Again, tethering. I'm telling you. Tethering to the Black American experience is big money. Tethering to, when you look at somebody like Toby Nwigwe, right? He has no lineage. He has no history in this culture. So it would be difficult for someone like Obama or like Kamala or like Toby to speak with authority about American history, politics, et cetera, et cetera. They ain't got nothing to say. I'm a first gen. We just got here, right? So in order to rise to the top of politics or rise to the top of culture, you got to tether yourself to the Black American. You got to hitch your wagon to us. And that is what these politicians, and that is what these culture vultures are doing. And you guys are allowing it to happen. We got to shut it down. So listen, don't let me keep talking. I want you guys to check it out, man. Go to the link in the description, and I want you guys to listen to Toby Nwigwe's full piece. It's just a real short 2-minute clip. Now, I agree, it's well done. I mean, anything that Dr. Dre does is going to be dope, right? But what I think Toby should have done, and this is what I want y'all to, particularly you Nigerians, brothers like Sola, I know y'all about to come in. I think it would have been better if Toby would have spoke as an ally. For example, if he would have said, you built this country on the backs of ADOS. You built this country on the backs of my brothers and sisters, the Black Americans. Wouldn't that have been better? What was wrong with him doing that? He didn't do that. Rather, he said, you built this country on our backs. And that, to me, is treasonous. See, if I went to Nigeria, and let's say my parents born me in Nigeria, so I'm a first-generation Nigerian American, right? Ethnically a Black American. And I was rapping or whatever, and I was talking about Biafra, right? The Igbo wars. I wouldn't say, hey, the British, they built this country on our backs, because I gotta recognize that I don't have any history in that country. I would say, you built this country on the back of my Igbo brothers. You built this country on the back of my Yoruba brothers. I would have enough respect for them to say that. But for the reverse not to be true, for a first generation Nigerian to come here and say, you built this country on our backs, to me, that's why I jack him. And we gotta call it out. So that's what we do here on this platform. We protect our culture, we protect our politics, and we ask, those questions to our politicians. Why did Joe Biden put a Nigerian-born Nigerian in that top position as the U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary? That is a question that I would like you guys to answer. Why did Dr. Dre hire a Nigerian, Toby Nwigwe, to express the Black American experience? And would a Nigerian artist and Nigerian politicians do the same thing for us? Right? Is the reverse true? And if the reverse is not true, then what is this whole thing about Pan-Africanism? Please explain it to me, because it's trash. It don't seem like it's working. It looks like we as Black Americans are just giving everything away and not getting anything in return. All right? Be vigilant, brothers and sisters, and make sure that you protect your politics, you protect your economy, and you protect your culture without apology. All right. So once again, man, I really need you guys to read the Moynihan Report, because more than me talking about it, and more than us chopping it up in the comment section, the Moynihan Report is going to explain everything that we're talking about. And I'm telling you, your government, the U.S. Department of Labor, specifically stated that Black American people are unequal, and that we're the weakest group in this country, and that we, in the context of competing in America for power and money and control and education, we're the weakest link. So wouldn't it make sense for them to hire people like Kamala Harris and, Nigerians, in these top political positions? People like Eric Holder, for example, to be the first, Black Attorney General instead of Ados. Wouldn't it make sense if that's what they believe about us? So you guys need to investigate why they said that. And then on the next show, we're going to talk about the Moynihan Report and talk about whether or not it is true. All right. So I want you guys to like. All right. I really need you guys to like. If I got 1,000 views on this show, I need 1,000 likes. I need you to like. I need you to share. I need you to subscribe to this channel. Don't cost you no money. Make sure you hit the bell to see all future uploads, and then also go to our website at www.blackамerican.com, and I will see you guys on the next show, and I'll see you in the comments. All right, peace and love, Black family, and I'll talk to you again. Boom.